Shrishti and Samir were childhood friends. They lived next to each other and went to the same school until class 7. But then, Shrishti's family moved to another part of the same city. The day she left, both of them cried a lot. It felt like their hearts were breaking. Even after moving, they stayed in touch. Their friendship was well known among students and teachers. They had grown up together, playing, learning, and laughing. They went to the same preschool and the same school. Shrishti had cried on her first day of school, but Samir made her smile. They shared the same love for painting and had spent many happy moments together. Those memories were precious, not just because of what they did, but because they had done it together. They were a little mischievous too. Sometimes, Samir's mischief would get Shrishti into trouble. But she always tried to protect him from being scolded. She even brought lunch for both of them. Her mother used to pack food based on what Samir liked or didn't like. As time passed, they began to grow up. Their bodies started to change. Shrishti became more curvy and had a softer, more attractive voice. Samir became stronger with a deep voice. But these changes didn't bother them. They were so close that they could talk about anything, even awkward topics. Samir even remembered the date of her last period because Shrishti always forgot and asked him. He could tell when she had mood swings because of PMS. Their bond was truly special, strong, honest, and open, but things started to change in the 10th standard. During their farewell party, Samir gave her a big surprise, one that felt like a shock. He told her that he was going to propose to one of their classmates on stage in front of everyone. Shrishti couldn't believe it. Her heart broke. But even in that pain, she made a firm decision. She wouldn't let that happen. She was holding a glass in her hand, and in a moment of shock, she broke it. Samir was just about to step on the stage when he saw her standing there, broken and emotional. He ran to her immediately. She was crying, and he had tears in his eyes too. But then, she suddenly smiled. He was confused and asked, "Why are you smiling?" She didn't answer, she just nodded and hugged him tightly. Later, when she reached home, she sat quietly, thinking about everything that had happened. Suddenly, a question struck her heart. Why did she stop him from proposing to someone else? Why did she feel happy seeing tears in his eyes? Slowly, she found the answer. It was love. She had fallen in love with her best friend. But she wasn't sure whether to confess it or not. At that time, they were busy preparing for their exams. Samir took care of her like always. He didn't let her do any work that strained her hand. He tried to talk about that day again, but she avoided it every time. One day, he asked her directly. She was shocked. Words didn't come out. After he insisted, she softly replied, just like a fairy tale. After that day, they never spoke about it again. But Shrishti was scared. What if they got separated after class 10? But once again, Samir surprised her. He took admission to the same school, in the same course. Her joy was beyond words. They both became popular in their new school, Shrishti for her intelligence, and Samir for his looks. One day, a senior student proposed to Shrishti. She was stunned. But Samir was filled with rage. Shrishti got scared. How would she calm him down? She tried to distract him in every way, but he still got into big trouble. He was suspended for a week. Even during suspension, he was only worried about her. To support him, she told everyone she was unwell and stayed home for a week too. Samir was shocked by his own behavior. He began to ask himself, if he was going to propose to someone else, why did he get so upset when someone proposed to her? That day, he understood the truth. He had fallen in love with his best friend. He remembered how Shrishti always dreamed of a love story like a fairy tale. So he started planning something special for her. But he also knew, he had to wait. He wanted her to say it first. He was ready to wait for her confession so that he could turn it into a beautiful fairy tale. 2 years passed. They both loved each other deeply, but neither of them ever said it out loud. Everyone around them could feel it, but they never confessed it themselves. Then, one day, while they were going home, Samir met with a serious accident. He was trying to save Shrishti and got badly injured. She was shattered. She kept blaming herself, crying endlessly. During his operation, she didn't leave the hospital, not even for a minute. The operation was successful, and he was out of danger. The doctors kept him under observation. When she went to meet him, she couldn't hold back anymore. She softly confessed her love to him and begged him to get better. What she didn't know was, he could hear her. After much insistence from others, she finally left the room. But inside, Samir felt peace and joy. Because now he knew, she felt the same way for him as he did for her, even though Samir was weak. He remembered the promise he made, to turn their love story into a fairy tale. He secretly talked to the doctor, his family, and their friends. He gave them clear instructions for a surprise. It was the 5th of February. 2 days later, Valentine's week would begin. To help with his plan, Shrishti's mother pretended to be sick, so Shrishti couldn't visit Samir for 2 days. On the 7th of February, she finally came to see him. The doctor was checking on him. When she asked how he was, the doctor told her that Samir hadn't woken up for the last 3 days, and his condition was serious. Her heart shattered into pieces. She begged the doctors to take good care of him. She couldn't sleep or rest. Every day, his condition seemed worse. Shrishti had planned to confess her love to Samir on Valentine's Day. But now, everything felt like it was falling apart. Still, she decided, she would spend the whole day with him. On the morning of February 14th, she went to the hospital early. But when she entered his room, he wasn't there. Panic filled her. She called the nurse. And they told her that his condition had worsened during the night and he had been shifted to the ICU. She wasn't even allowed to see him. She waited there, heartbroken. Suddenly, the lights went off. The darkness scared her. But then, she saw a bright light in one corner. Samir was standing there, holding a candle. Her eyes widened. She was filled with happiness and shocked to see him standing and walking. She ran toward him to hug him, but he blew out the candle, and the room went dark again. Suddenly, a big screen lit up. It started showing their photographs, from childhood, through their school days, up to the present. Tears rolled down her cheeks. He had made this day unforgettable. Then, someone gave her a bunch of gifts. She opened them one by one. Inside were a love letter, roses, chocolates, teddy bears, and more. At last, Samir proposed to her. As she hugged him, flowers started falling from above. She found herself wrapped in his arms. She couldn't believe it was real. She kept pinching herself. It truly was a dream come true. Everything was happening so fast. She was about to leave his arms when she suddenly heard him scream. Startled, she asked him what had happened. He took off his shirt, and there it was, her name tattooed on his chest. She burst into tears. He held her to calm her down. Then she noticed something behind him. It was a painting. When she looked closer, she saw that it was her painting. She stood speechless, unable to thank God enough. She didn't know whether to be angry at him for lying about his condition, or to be overjoyed at what he had done for her. Her heart was full. He gently took her hands in his. She smiled, because she had a little surprise for him too. His name was already printed on her ring finger.